Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another video of Be the Best DFS Daily Fantasy Sports Talk. My name is Bradford Best, and today is August 11th, 2016, and I will be going over the early only FanDuel slate for today. It's about 9:30 here where I'm at in Decatur, Georgia, so had to get started early. Got a early only slate. I believe it's about 5 or 6 games. Hopefully can win some money early in the day. Last night, I came up short, but I had a really good lineup. Jason Hamill, he was on point. He got 51 fantasy points. I hit the money with Troy Tulowitzki. He had about 30 plus fantasy points. But what messed me up was the postponed game in Minnesota. They started the game, it went to 3 innings, and then it got postponed. But in those 3 innings, Brian Dozier was 2 for 2 with a home run and a single, and Miguel Sano, I believe he had like 6 fantasy points. And the Twins, they were up 5-0, but since the game didn't make it to the 5th inning, and got postponed, all the stats and statistical data were erased. So it was like the game never happened. Before I went to sleep, I had like 138 fantasy points. Thought I was going to get to like at least the 150 mark or higher. And when I woke up, I had 108, and I was shocked. But that was all because of the postponement. Really big disappointment. But at the end of the day, I know my lineup building process was right. I just caught a bad break with that postponement. But enough of that. Today is a new day, a new opportunity to win some money, a new opportunity to try to be the best. And I'm feeling real optimistic about my lineup for today. And I'm gonna share with you all my strategy, and hopefully we can all win some money early today. So getting started with this slate, starting with the pitcher position. I'll say this. Chris Tillman and Noah Syndergaard, they are the two top plays at pitcher. They're great plays. Noah Syndergaard, 10,500, pitching in a good ballpark at home against a weak Arizona Diamondbacks team. Seemingly a great play. Chris Tillman for the Baltimore Orioles, also pitching in a pitcher's ballpark. The game last night was 1-0, so he's in a good spot, to get a lot of fantasy points tonight. He definitely has the upside. Last month in July 21st, he had 51 fantasy points at Yankee Stadium. Also, he had another pretty good game July 10th with 45 fantasy points against the Los Angeles Angels. Those are two great plays, but with the limited options, I also believe those two pitchers will be the chalk. I believe they will be the two highest owned pitchers. And for cash games, I think they're both great. But for tournaments, I think you need to go against the chalk. So my favorite play today for tournaments, it's also risky, is Matt Garza of the Milwaukee Brewers for $6,500. Like I said, it's a risky play, but that's what you have to do in tournaments. You have to take risks. Miller Park is a hitter's park, but the Braves are my team, and lately they have been doing pretty good at the plate. But I know about the Braves. The only person you really have to fear in the lineup is Freddie Freeman and maybe Matt Kemp. If you can get around those two players, you should have a successful day. And Matt Garza, his last 2 games, he's shown some decent upside. August 6th, 34 fantasy points, and July 31st, 39 fantasy points. I'll take that at a price tag of $6,500. If he can get 30, possibly 40, I think that would be great. And at that low salary price, it'll open up a lot of other options for me, to spend up for bets. So I'm not necessarily recommending y'all take the same risk that I'm taking. I think the safest play and the best play would probably be Chris Tillman. A decent salary price, pitcher's ballpark. But I'm going totally against the grain today, and I'm sharing this with y'all. I'm going with Matt Garza at pitcher. That's who I'm going with. So the rest of the players at pitcher, I really didn't look at. I don't really think they will have a good game today. So Garza, that's that guy for me. Moving on, catcher position. I got the highest price catcher on the board, Jonathan Lucroy. If he plays today, I think he's in a good spot to get a home run and get some positive fantasy points. Yesterday he homered, so he's a streaky type of player. So maybe he homers in back-to-back games. That's if he plays. Other considerations other than Jonathan Lucroy, I think Evan Gattis is a good play if he starts, and also Stephen Vogt. I think he's a good play if he starts. And other than that, I really don't see nothing else at the catcher position. In my research earlier this morning, take it how you want. AJ Przinsky, he has one career home run against Matt Garza in the last 5 years. In 11 at-bats, he has one home run. So that's a BVP stat for anyone interested in that. But, catcher, that's a weak position. Moving on to the next position, first base position, favorite play for tournaments and GPPs, Chris Davis of the Baltimore Orioles at 3,900. Chris Davis, he's the highest priced first baseman, but I feel he's in a good spot today because the wind is blowing out to supposedly blowing out to right field in Oakland. I believe it's like 10 miles per hour or more. Now Chris Davis, he's a horrible hitter. He's batting .217. He's basically a boom or bust, famine or feast type of player. But he has power. 23 home runs on the season, and definitely has the potential and capabilities to hit 2 home runs in any given game. And being that his price tag is the highest at 3,900, I think that may decrease his ownership percentages. And a lot of players will look to save money and pick other first basemen like Freddie Freeman, Chris Carter, or any other of the first basemen that's at a lower price. So when I consider all those factors, Chris Davis, that's the guy for me tonight. I like him at first base for tournaments. If you're not into Chris Davis, my second best option would be Chris Carter. He has one career home run against the pitcher for the Braves, Hernandez. I believe he's 1 for 3 with one home run. Also, Chris Davis, he homered on last night, so he could be a good play. I guess Freddie Freeman could be a good play, but being that I got Matt Garza, I have no interest in him. Joe Mauer, he has a good BVP statistics versus Fister of the Astros. And that's about all I see at first base. Yeah, it's a short slate, so it's not, that many to choose from. But again, Chris Davis is who I like for this early only slate. At second base, I think the player I like today for GPPs and tournaments is Brian Dozier for the Minnesota Twins. If you wasn't following the games, you won't know that he hit a home run yesterday. But like I said at the beginning of this video, all the stats, got erased from the game yesterday because it was only 3 innings. But, he's on a little hot streak right now. And the wind is supposed to be blowing out to left field. He has a good BVP statistics versus Fister of the Astros. In 11 at-bats, he's batting .545 with one career home run. And at 3,300, I think he's at the perfect price, perfect situation at home. He probably want to get his home run back that they took from him yesterday. So Dozier, like my top play like he was yesterday, he's my top play again today for tournaments and GPPs. Other than Dozier, Altuve, he's definitely a great play. I'm not feeling any Brewers. Well, I'm sorry. Scooter Gennett, he could be a good play. I believe he's left-handed. He's left-handed going up against a right-handed pitcher in Hernandez. Josh Harrison for the Pittsburgh Pirates, he could also be a interesting play, depending where he bats in the order, because the Padres have a left-handed pitcher on pitching today this afternoon, and that's about all I see at second base. So for me, Brian Dozier, he's that guy at second base. But if you can find a way to fit Altuve in, he's also a good play because he's been on a hot streak as of late also. Moving on to the next position, third base. This is just like a how can I say, a gut move. I got a gut feeling about it. Pedro Alvarez for the Baltimore Orioles. Lefty versus righty matchup. The wind is supposed to be blowing out to right field. He had the day off yesterday. I always like that, and he definitely has home run potential with 18 on the season. So Alvarez, he's one of those players who doesn't really hit for a high average, but he can also hit for 2 home runs in any game. And another thing that I forgot to mention when I picked Chris Davis at first base, the Oakland Athletics, the pitcher who's starting for them this afternoon, he's used to coming out of the bullpen, so he's not even used to starting. So I definitely see the Orioles possibly jumping out to an early lead on this pitcher and getting a couple home runs. And if you're into stacking, I think an Orioles stack is a viable option. But I'm not. If y'all seen any of the previous videos, I don't believe in that stacking. If it happens when I make my lineup, it happens. But I'm not, focusing on stacking. But Pedro Alvarez, I like him. I don't like his salary price at $3,600. But, being that it's a short slate, he's probably going to be the play for me for tournaments and GPPs. Other than Alvarez, of course, Nolan Arenado and Manny Machado. If you can afford them, definitely play them. Jonathan VR, his price tag is $4,000, but he can bat from the left side of the plate against a right-handed pitcher in a hitter's ballpark. He's also another good option. I might find a way to put VR in my lineup if I can make some adjustments now that I'm looking at it. But other than that, maybe a sneaky play could be Trevor Plouffe. He's been injured a lot this season, but he does have a little bit of power batting from the right side of the plate. With the weather conditions in Minnesota, Plouffe could be a sneaky option. But for now, I like Pedro Alvarez. Moving on to the shortstop position. Like I mentioned yesterday, the shortstop position is a position usually with not a lot of power in it. I think Carlos Correa is my play for tournaments and GPPs. I didn't really analyze this position much because, in my opinion, there's not much to choose from. So Correa, being that it's a short slate, I think he's the best play. I guess if you had to pick another option, maybe Semien, or maybe part of a Baltimore stack, maybe Hardy. But, I'm not going to go over this position too long. Correa, if he starts, he's the guy I'm putting in there at shortstop. And the last position, the outfield position. First player I got is Jay Bruce. Big time power hitter. Let me see how many home runs he got on the season. 27 home runs on the season. I believe the wind is supposed to be blowing slightly to right field today. I may be mistaken, but lefty versus righty matchup, and he definitely has that 2 home run game potential. At 3,900, Jay Bruce is one of the outfielders that I like tonight for today for tournaments and GPPs. Another outfielder I like is Chris Davis for the Oakland Athletics. He's at a very, very low price of $3,000, but he has home run potential. 27 home runs on the season. He hasn't hit one since August 2nd, so I believe he's due for one. And if you're into BVP statistics versus Chris Tillman, he's 2 for 2 with 1 career home run. We all know that Chris Davis, Chris with a K, had a 3 home run game earlier this season. And, any given any given game, he can hit two. Oakland is a tough park to hit home runs in because it's so spacious. But at 3,000 and the BVP statistics, I like Chris Davis today as one of my outfielders. And the last outfielder I like for my lineup is Miguel Sano of the Minnesota Twins. I liked him yesterday and I like him today. All the stats from yesterday got erased, but on August 9th, he hit a home run. Hopefully, he's in a little hot streak and he hits another one today. The wind's supposed to be blowing out to left field, so I think Miguel Sano, with his power playing at home, I like him today in the outfield position. And that's about it for my lineup for today. Let me go over some other outfield positions that you could possibly consider. Definitely Ryan Braun. He's been on a hot streak, 4,300, playing at home at Miller Park or Hitters Ballpark. If you can fit Ryan Braun in there, I would recommend you play him. George Springer is also good. The weather conditions in Minnesota are conducive for right-handed power, and in the BVP statistics, he has one career home run against the pitcher Berrios. Starling Marte, I really like him. Lefty versus righty matchup at home in Pittsburgh, and Marte, he's a high stolen base threat. 39 stolen bases on the season. He's batting .312 this year. Marte's great play today. I'm not really big on that Texas and Colorado game. I just don't really think too many runs going to be scored. I could be completely wrong, but it's just a game that I kind of overlooked today. I'm not on Trumbo. He's in a major slump. I don't know what's going on with him. But there's one player in the Texas-Colorado game that I did have in my lineup earlier and still considering playing. David Dahl for the Colorado Rockies. I guess he's only been in the league for like a couple weeks or so, only played 16 games, but he's averaging 13.04 fantasy points per game. Last two games, he's got August 10th, 19.2 fantasy points, and August 9th, 18.4 fantasy points. You have the lefty versus righty matchup because he's a left-handed batter. A limited sample size, but on the season, he's batting .365. He could be a very great play, David Dahl. I really don't know much about him. I've heard, people on Roto Grinders talking about him. He's unknown. He probably have low ownership. So David Dahl, he's definitely another good play in the outfield position for value and, the high point potential. But that's about it for all the positions. And just to recap my lineup for today, I'm sorry, keep forgetting it's just an early only slate. At pitcher, I think the safe play definitely for cash games is Chris Tillman. I think Chris Tillman and Noah Syndergaard, they are the two pitchers in the best positions to have good games. But for me, just trying to be different and just trying to go completely against the chalk and go against the grain, I'm going with Matt Garza because he's pitching at home against a Braves team who can struggle at sometimes. So Garza is that guy for me. If you want to do like I do, go ahead, but it's risky. At catcher, I just got the highest one on the board, Luke Croy. He homered last night. Lefty versus... Wait, hold on, let me see. Is it? Sorry. No, it's not. It's a righty versus righty matchup, but he's been on a little hot streak. So Luke Croy, I like him at catcher. I like Chris Davis at first base, even though, he struggles to hit the ball sometimes. But other first basemen, I think Chris Carter and Freddie Freeman could be good plays. At second base, Brian Dozier, he's that guy for me. I'm really big on him today. If you can afford Altuve, definitely go with him. At third base, taking a chance with Pedro Alvarez, but I may try to find a way to put Jonathan Villar in there if I make some adjustments to my lineup. Shortstop, didn't really do much analyzing on that. Carlos Correa, that's the guy you should play. Like, I think that was like the easy position. In the outfield, I just kind of look for some power. Jay Bruce, lefty versus righty matchup. Chris Davis for the Oakland A's, good BVP statistics. And Miguel Sano, been on a little hot streak lately. That's about it for, my lineup strategy for today's early only slate. Again, as always, I want to thank everyone who's taken the time out to view this video. I thank each and every one of my subscribers to the YouTube channel. I thank everyone who's joined the Facebook group. Just search hashtag #BeTheBestDFS. Also want to thank everyone who's following the Twitter account at @BeTheBestDFS. And just thank everyone for whatever kind of support that you show to all this stuff I'm trying to do in the DFS industry. Like I said, last night wasn't a winning night, but today is a new day, a new opportunity to be great. And, I feel good about it, just waiting for starting lineups to come out. And I think, today's going to be a successful one. So, again, thanks again, everyone. If you like this video, please subscribe and join all the different social media outlets, that Be The Best DFS is on. And I'll leave y'all with what I always leave y'all with. Try to be the best tonight. All right, I'm out.